So today I want to talk about the actual process of applying to school abroad, but UK edition. What I'm going to do is basically explain what I did, how I landed on the resources that I ended up using, and basically give you advice throughout my story of things that I am happy I did, and then also things that I wish I knew when I was applying. So the first thing I did was go to a university fair called the Go Global Expo. Basically, it's a bunch of recruitment officers, a bunch of recruiters from different universities come to this fair and are there to answer any questions you have. So this fair is actually good if you aren't looking to go to the UK specifically. They have a lot of other international opportunities and not just schools, so they have some work experience, volunteering experience that you can do abroad. That fair had recruitment officers from different universities in the UK that could answer any questions that I had. And it wasn't only schools there, but also the agencies that specifically work with Canadian students to help them apply to schools in the UK. So it gave me exposure and introduced me to a lot of these agencies that I basically collected all of these different business cards and then went home to email everybody on my list. Everybody on my list. Everybody on my list. The next major step in my application process was finding an agency. So I didn't really know where to start with applications abroad, and I was lacking a lot of vital information that I needed. I emailed all of the agencies that were there. Those were Student Solutions, Atlantic Bridge, SI, UK, and Across the Pond. And I emailed them basically inquiring, saying that I want to apply to physiotherapy. How do I do that, basically? So these agencies are really helpful. What they do is basically give you advice on everything. So they give you a list of schools that you can apply to. They help you with the entire application process, from your personal statement, your resume, your actual application that you fill out on the school's website, and then they let you know if you got an interview. Most importantly, they let you know of the application deadline dates. They basically make the schedule for you of when applications are due so that you don't miss a deadline. So I mentioned in my previous video that the agency that I went with was called SI UK, that's Study in UK, and I had a really great experience with them. Basically, I applied to all of them, and I chose SI UK because I got the most genuine response, and I felt that they really wanted to help me in my journey, where the other agencies were a bit more passive. Maybe that's just I don't know, maybe that was just in my head. Regardless, I had a really great experience with SI UK, very responsive, was very helpful, and was very encouraging.
Brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same.
So what I did was send over my transcript, my personal statement, my resume, and the agent that was allocated to me looked it over, told me the things that I would need to work on or things that I would need to fix, and basically helped me cater my application to these schools, because they deal with the schools directly and they know exactly what the school is looking for in an applicant. My advice for people who are planning on applying or are currently applying to schools in the UK or abroad, anywhere, is that if you feel like your GPA or your transcript isn't exactly good enough or isn't meeting that minimum requirement, I would apply anyway.
So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
The minimum GPA is basically based on the cohort and the group that's applying that year. So I would just take the chance. And it's not really a chance, you're not risking anything, so definitely apply. Now the other thing that I'm really happy I did was apply to a lot of schools. When the agent first gave me a list of schools that I could apply to, she gave me a list of 3 schools, and I was like, I want more options.
But had I accepted the pickle juice, I would be drinking pickle juice right now.
It's like I want to make sure that I get into a good school, and B, like I want to apply to many because I want to obviously increase my chances of getting in. I definitely pushed to apply to more schools, and I'm really happy I did, because it's a great thing for practicing for interviews. So I applied to physiotherapy. And in the UK, physiotherapy is an undergraduate degree, and here in Canada, it's a master's. I applied to the undergraduate degrees as well, even though I wanted a master's. But what that did was give me a really great opportunity to practice my interview skills. I ended up going through, I don't know, 10 maybe 10, maybe more interviews, and I got really good at them. Like, I was gaining confidence, I knew how to answer all the questions really off the top of my head. And what I also learned was that all the questions were pretty similar. So the interviews for the schools weren't that different from one another. The undergraduate interviews came first, so I was able to practice with them, better prepared for the master's interviews that I was actually a little bit more nervous for, but was better prepared for. And again, I just want to reiterate that applying to the master's programs is free, so there's no fee to apply. I only had to pay, I think, a small fee for Oxford Brookes University, but other than that, they were all free. But the undergraduate programs weren't. So it was, I think, on a website called UCAS, so UCAS. It was a small fee, I think it was like £25 or £50, and you apply to 3 schools, something like that. It doesn't really break the bank, and it's definitely worth it, especially if you're considering doing an undergrad degree. So, and throughout my application process, because I applied to multiple schools, I kept a list of the schools, the deadlines for the application dates to make sure that I didn't miss any. And obviously, if I heard back from the schools, I would write all the details down so that I was organized and didn't mix up what school was or which interview was on which day. I'm going to make a separate video on interviews and what to expect and what kind of questions I was asked to hopefully help any of you who are applying to physiotherapy specifically. And if you are looking for resources on how to write a personal statement, if you would like to see examples of what they should look like, see resources on how to build a resume geared towards whatever program you're applying to, then I'll definitely link a few resources down below. Okay, and that's it. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.